It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a former standout on the baseball diamond. Drafted in 2004 by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 13th round of the amateur draft, he spent nearly a decade playing for 4 different MLB organizations at all the levels of the minor leagues. He even had one spring training appearance with the Atlanta Braves. In 8 seasons with the minors, he tallied 626 hits, 35 homers, and 303 runs batted in. Since his retirement, this gentleman has put his knowledge and experience at the disposal of young baseball players as the owner of a baseball school, an instructor, and a college recruiting specialist. He's Daniel Nelson, and he joins this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN right now with your host, another Nelson. That is Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I know we just had back-to-back shows. A special thanks to the Senior Vice President of Player Development, none other than Doug Williams, for joining me on my last show at noon. Now Listen In with KNN, presented by Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM is back. We're switching modes. We're going to baseball. I am so excited to be joined by another Nelson. I said on my intro, none other than Daniel Nelson, a former baseball player with the Atlanta Braves, played in the minor leagues and doing so much more incredible things. Now he's going to join me on the show. We're going to talk the latest and greatest in baseball and sports and so much more. So let's get things started. I know you all are waiting. I appreciate your patience. So please help me welcome none other than Daniel Nelson to the show. Daniel, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I like to ask my guests first, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I like to do a wellness check, right? Because there's a lot happening in the world right now.
Right. No, I'm feeling really good. I'm definitely got to wear the mask because I'm on the school premises, but for sure though, I'm doing really well.
I love it. You said you're on a school premises. What are you currently doing right now?
Oh, actually, I'm a teacher at Odyssey Preparatory Academy. So I'm here and I'm doing the interview basically here in the teachers' lounge. So,
I love it. Look, some kids get their first glimpse inside the teacher's lounge. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to speak with you. Of course, I think baseball fans, we're excited baseball's back. I mean, it's just a fun time all around. We have so many sports going on. Everyone's glad. Everyone's excited. Have you had a chance to catch any of the latest live sports games, Daniel?
Oh, yes, I have. I caught a little bit of the NFL game on Thursday.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty good game. And then I had to leave and then I had practice. Because I had to train some of the kids. So, but I got the first part of it. It seemed like football's back. So I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, some were worried that we didn't have a preseason, with the play be rusty. But I think from what we saw in that game, no, I think we're just fine.
Most definitely. Yes. I'm happy to see it.
I have to ask you on that game, there was probably more conversation after a game about what happened during the moment of silence. When the team locked arms and there's supposed to be a moment of silence, the Chiefs fans that were in attendance on television, it sounded like there was a lot of booing as the announcer talked about unity. And just want to get your thoughts on that as we try to move forward as a country in the midst of the social injustice pandemic that's also going on in addition to COVID-19.
Well, I think, I think what I heard, especially when it came to the booing, I thought it was more them booing the Texans for not being present. And I understand some of their feelings towards it, and it's part of life. It happens, but for the most part, I think equality is probably the best thing that we can push for as a nation and as a community as well, especially out here in Arizona. And I mean, unity is always huge, and in other states. So I do pray that everyone does start to wake up a little bit on equality and try to push for that more than anything.
I love that. We need equality. I love your message. And let's just move forward together. That's all people want. We want to get back to good times. We want COVID-19 to end. Of course, we want social justice to take place. But it's all about equality and just treating each other with kindness and respect and love. And now let's talk about you, Daniel. I mean, from 2004 to 2012, you played for 4 different MLB organizations at all levels of the minor leagues. You even had a spring training appearance with the Braves. Talk about first just your introduction to baseball, what got you started and gave you a love for the sport.
Oh man! Well, right. The person that put me on is my dad for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I believe watching him play softball and then watching my brother play, that really put the stamp on it. And I always wanted to be better than my brother. I always wanted to. And I will always admit this though. He was better than me. Just because he sacrificed so much for me to even get to where I'm at today.
Right.
That I owe it all to him and to my dad. My mom and my sister definitely always supported me.
Yeah.
Always was there. But for sure, my brother and watching him, and he took me outside and he used to work with me, and my dad used to push me as well as a coach.
Yeah.
And he taught me how to be more of a gentleman and a man on the field and off the field. So that was huge.
We love to hear that. And especially I love your introduction to baseball because, Daniel, you are an African-American male. And I think today there's a big conversation around Black baseball players. So the MLB has seen a very small increase in the percent of Black players on their opening day rosters this year, with about 7.8%, which is about 80 players if you're doing the math numbers, are on these 30-man rosters, injured and restricted lists. And so for you, playing baseball as an African-American male, do you think like you had any weirdness towards it? Were people like trying to gear you towards another sport, or was it just, no, I'm going to play baseball? And maybe where you weren't even thinking about that. I'm just curious how, when you hear those numbers, what goes to your mind?
Well, basically, I know that the numbers are growing, and that's huge. I see them, bringing up young talent every day, especially during the COVID. I know it's only 60 games, but I've seen more African-American males be pulled up this year than I've seen in recent 20 years, probably.
Yeah.
But I do like the support that Major League Baseball is showing towards the African-American community and towards, every community that's out there, and I love to see it. And it makes the game a little more, how do you say it, flavorable, if that's a word. So
I love that. Making baseball more flavorful.
So it's exciting to watch, to see the unity and the equality that's growing within sports, and it should continuously grow. I'm happy to see it.
I love that because I think, we see it with hockey, with their Hockey is for Everyone program. And I think baseball is trying to make strides to go back and reach out to the African-American communities. And just based on your background, how do you think we can get young kids to, pick up that baseball bat in Black communities and see that baseball is a viable sport for them to have longevity in and hopefully maybe make a career out of?
Well, I believe understanding 3-sport athletes are always encouraged, especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
Baseball does work on the hand and eye coordination that transfer over into football, especially when it comes to catching a pass.
Right.
Playing shortstop transfers over to playing quarterback. As you can tell, Mahomes and Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. I mean, these guys are drafted and draftable and decided to play football instead. But I do I do see us pushing more towards baseball now that we're seeing more African American males being pulled up. I mean, I think I just recently had a conversation with my brother,
Yeah.
and basically he was like, "Man, dude, I was thinking about putting my brother, I'm not my brother, but my son, into another sport, but I saw a couple of more African Americans out there. I might have he might have a chance." So it was happy, I'm happy to see that. So I think the more that we encourage our children to continuously stay focused on being multi-sport athletes, try them all out, and see what the outcome is. I think that's the most important thing that we could do as a race.
And I love that you touched on that, because I know there was also a big place in the Players Tribune from the Seattle Mariners' very own Taylor Trammell. He talked about baseball is not black enough. And he had this whole piece. And that's why I brought this conversation up with you, because it's a huge topic right now. And I think especially many sports are looking at their diversity. I don't think it's only in baseball. I think it's happening in hockey. I think it's happening in other sports, especially I think as America is kind of having this racial awakening that we're going through right now, right? Like we're being forced to look at what's happening in this country. First, did you have a chance to read that piece at all?
No, I did not. I did not get a chance to read the piece at all. I've been extremely busy. Just running around with these kids, especially my kids, they keep me busy. So I haven't been able to get around to any of the, extra time off. I don't get that much off.
Oh, look, you're busy. You're a dad. Yeah. So I get it. But I think just if you could talk about just your experience, going through the minor league system, would you say like baseball is doing enough to support players from minority communities?
For the most part, I believe so. I think they're giving back as much as possible. They're building up baseball parks in all communities. I'm from the RBI program in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I remember when it first started, we used to practice at Jackie Robinson Field, and then after that, we practiced at Southwest Community College. Well, Major League Baseball pretty much took the initiative to build a facility in Compton, California. And I mean, if you go there, they have two to three fields, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
And I applaud them on what they're doing. As far as especially in California, I know what I saw, I know what I see, and I know what I saw, and I know what I played on. So
yes,
from the start to now, it's a huge difference. It's amazing. I love it.
I love to hear that. And for your little ones, are you pushing them towards baseball too, Daniel?
You know what? I put a little too much pressure on my youngest son to get after it, but he loves basketball, so I can't hate on that. That is something I'm proud of him for making a choice and committing to something. So I'll continuously work with him in baseball, because just like I said, it transfers over into these other sports.
Yeah.
So it works with his awareness and things like that. But if he likes basketball, he's going to play basketball. It even goes with my daughters. I tried to lead them into like golf and tennis. They're grabbing gloves and putting on, a bat in their hand. I'm like, oh man. So I got two softball girls now. So those are going to be the ones I got to train then.
I love that so much. Like helping the future sports athletes that hopefully one day I'll get to cover. I'm looking forward to it, especially basketball. I hope your son's enjoying these NBA playoffs we've gotten. We've been a little spoiled. It's been so much fun to watch, and I love you touching on that. And you talked about you're currently in a teacher's lounge. You're a teacher, but you're also the owner of a baseball school, right? An instructor, college recruiting specialist as well, the Valley Training Academy, which is your organization where you help youth develop their baseball fundamentals. Tell me all about this. It's just so exciting.
Well, basically, the way it started was I've been in Arizona for about, off and on about maybe roughly 15, 14 years.
Okay.
And once I retired around 2012, I started, coaching and got an opportunity to coach at Odyssey Preparatory Academy, and I'm the head coach here at the high school. And what I was watching is these other programs charging kids an arm and a leg that, and some of these kids and families do not have enough money to afford this stuff.
Yeah.
So they were charging them premium, $1,200, $1,000 just to, get an opportunity to be recruited. So, after watching it for like 3 or 4 years, I had to figure out how can I get on the same level of that and provide something that's affordable to everyone else. So what I did is I did my research and found this program, and basically I shoot out all kinds of information to colleges, and now I'm attached to about 1,400 colleges. And basically, anyone that's interested in this program, it's free. And if they send me video, I can evaluate. I can put things on there saying, "Hey, you know what? This kid does this, does that," and his arm angle, things like that. I can break them down. I can blast them out to all 1,400 if the opportunity is there, of course.
Right.
And the colleges have a choice between if they want the kid or they don't want the kid, but the opportunities are there.
Right.
So basically, the program has been free. It's online as well. It's on Facebook. It's I do it in person as well. And so far, 20 kids in the last 2 or 3 years has been picked up.
Wow, success stories. We love that on the show.
And I've done it for free of cost. So it's my opportunity to give back as much as possible. But I just see that it's just really hard for kids, especially in the inner city or in these low income families, struggle to get their kids out, and they're stuck at a high school where the coach is not doing his job as well.
Right.
So I have to give kids opportunities and families opportunities to get some free college. So
that is so magnificent. And you saying 20 of them getting picked up, when you hear that success story, I mean, what does that mean to you?
Oh no, that's huge. I don't expect anything back, but I am happy and I'm at peace with what I'm doing. And so that's the best part about it, is that I'm not struggling to get this done. It's a passion that I have to take care of as many people as I can, because I got the opportunity, and I was very fortunate to run into a guy my senior year that literally took me in as his third son. And he trained me. I mean, my dad was always there with me when he was training me. But who would have thought, going to Crenshaw High School, I would run into a guy like this that played minor league baseball, that taught me how to stay inside the ball well. And he taught me a lot of stuff, and he took me underneath his wing, and I ended up getting drafted out of high school as well. So I have to give back as much as possible, because I believe the world gave me something that was, that was special. So I want to give it back to everyone else.
I love that message. The world gave you something special and you're wanting to share it back. And I'm curious, I love success stories. So out of those 20, just any success story that you can share with us, just about a player's growth that they had with you before they got picked up.
Oh, wow. Well, there was one player for sure right now that I know of. He actually two.
Yeah.
One, he started with me when he was 12 years old.
Okay.
And he basically came up through my organization that I had in the beginning. And he got picked up by Scottsdale Community College maybe about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Played 1 year, did pretty good. Next year comes in and it's COVID, of course, which is this year. Eliminated his entire season. And then he just signed with GCU.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's so awesome.
Well, that's one of them. And then the other one is another player that played at this school. And basically he told me, all right, look, there was a couple of schools that wanted him. He did not want to go to.
Okay.
And he basically said, okay, I'm going to take my chances at GCU. And it surprised me. I was like, okay, well, go ahead. He ended up making GCU's practice squad, the JV team.
Yeah.
And he should have the opportunity of stepping forward and making the actual team. So
I love that.
I'm pretty happy with what's happening and the kids that are pushing it.
Yeah. I absolutely love that, Daniel. I'm so happy you touched on that. Again, you are just doing such amazing work. I applaud all the great work that you're doing. And for those listeners that want to find out more and get involved, where can they find your program again?
You can find it on Facebook. It's it's on Facebook. It's Valley Training. We do online training as well for free. That's free as far as like hitting instruction, fielding instruction, anything that you need.
Love that.
And you can find me on Instagram as well. if you need help, you can always send me an email or a video of a kid swinging, and I can definitely break it down and help you out. When it comes to scouting,
okay,
you just reach out to me through those two networks, and I will definitely break it down, get you set up. You'll be on my profile, and scouts will start actually paying attention to your profile, and it will just grow from there. And then as we go along, and I see more video, I can see what kind of colleges that will be interested in that kid. So I'll just shoot them out to him. So it just continuously grows. So that's what our primary focus is.
I love it. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining me on this show. Thank you for your time. Any last messages for the fans out there before I let you go?
Well, all I can say is this: if we continuously grow as a community and as a nation, I think equality will be there. Just learn from the other person as much as possible.
I love that. What a great ending message. You're hearing from Daniel Nelson, a former MILB player. Thank you so much for your time and for joining me. Best wishes to the kids and best wishes with your program. Rooting for you.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you, Kelsey.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this live stream edition of Listen In With KNN. About to get ready to hop on 106.7 The Fan for the fans in the DMV area. Getting ready for football. We got a big game here tomorrow. Of course, the Washington football team taking on the Eagles, and of course, also the Ravens kicking off. So lots of football talk. Sure, if you like my work, follow me, KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you, as always, the loyal listeners. I could not do it without you. Daniel Nelson, Doug Williams, thank you so much. We'll be back with two very special guests next week. I'm not going to announce them just yet. If you want to know who they are, you'll have to head over to my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com, hit the announcements tab, and you'll see who will be joining me next on this live stream show. Thanks, as always, for listening. Again, appreciate your support to my team. Thank you so much. Could not do it without you. And until everyone, have a great weekend. Enjoy football. Week 1. Finally here. We made it. Let's just keep moving forward. We want to keep the sports going. Have a great one. Stay safe. And, of course, wear your face mask. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at @TheRealKNelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
You used to hear me on your airwaves or hear me on my hit podcast, but now I'm taking you to the screen. You'll love Elevator Thoughts. We will talk the latest trending in sports. It's game time. What better way to get to know those that visit the show than over some good food and drink? It's time for confessions.